Hello everyone and welcome back to Shreyansh Study. Today, we are going to explore one of the most important and shocking chapters of Indian history. Imagine a time when farmers had to give away a huge portion of their earnings as tax. And sometimes, even that wasn't enough. What if you had to pay not only your own taxes, but also your neighbors? Sounds unfair. This was the harsh reality during British rule in India. In today's video, we will break down two major land revenue systems introduced by the British. Mahalwari system, individual tax system, and Mahalwari system, village-based tax system. We shall understand how these systems worked, what made them different, and most importantly, which one was more oppressive. So stay with me till the end, because this comparison will completely change the way you look at colonial India. Let's begin. Let's start with the Mahalwari system, introduced around 1820 by Sir Thomas Munro and Captain Alexander Reed. This system was predominantly rolled out in Madras, Bombay, parts of Assam and Coorg. The word riot means individual peasant, and that was the core feature here. The British completely bypassed middlemen landlords. They entered into a direct settlement with the actual cultivators. On paper, this sounded incredibly fair. The land was surveyed, and the peasant was recognized as the legal owner. You could sell it, mortgage it, or gift it, as long as you paid your taxes. But here was the dark reality. The tax rates were fixed incredibly high, often demanding 50% to 60% of everything you produced. Because the government officials collected it directly and rigidly, there was no mercy for bad harvests or droughts. To survive, peasants were forced to turn to local money lenders, trapping millions in a brutal cycle of debt and land loss. Now, let's move north to the Mahalwari system, introduced in 1822 by Holt Mackenzie and later modified by Robert Mertens Bird. This system was applied to the northwest frontier, Punjab, the central provinces, and western UP. The term Mahal means an estate or a village. Unlike the Mahalwari system, the British realized that villages in northern India operated much more communally. So, instead of dealing with individual peasants, they made the revenue settlement collectively with the entire village community. To collect this revenue, the British appointed a village headman, known as the Lambadar. He was responsible for gathering the taxes from everyone and handing them over to the state. But this system had a massive flaw. The revenue was based on an estimated potential produce of the entire village land, which was almost always inflated and inaccurate. If a few farmers suffered a crop failure and couldn't pay, the rest of the village had to cover their deficit. The pressure on the collective community was immense. So, what is the core difference you need to remember? In the Mahalwari system, if you failed to pay your tax, the government confiscated your specific plot of land. It was individual accountability. In the Mahalwari system, if a few farmers failed to pay, the entire village was held responsible for the deficit, putting collective ownership at risk. Ultimately, whether the British targeted the individual peasant or the entire village, the goal remained exactly the same: to extract as much wealth as possible to maximize revenue for the British East India Company. Both systems left a legacy of heavy financial burden and devastation across rural India. If you found this breakdown helpful for your history studies, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to Shreyansh Study and drop a comment below on which historical topic you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.